So you're combining the horror and superhero genre all together? Count me in. What's going on, everyone? I have a brand new movie review for you guys today, and this film I've been highly anticipating ever since it was announced, and that is Brightburn. And of course, if you guys are new here, we'll make sure to hit that like and subscribe button right down there where you guys can get tons of early movie reviews like this and other sorts of geeky content. Plus, you guys can also go over to Sandwich on Films and how to see films early. What if a child from another galaxy crash landed on Earth, but instead of becoming the hero that we all know and love, turns out to be something far more sinister? It's pretty obvious that this film is totally a reverse Man of Steel. I mean, I love Man of Steel. I love Superman, the character overall. But again, like I said, this film, just from the trailer alone and the concept that you read all into it, it's preaching a Man of Steel vibe with a horror tone all mixed in there. And it's, again, the opposite. Instead of becoming here to be the savior, he's coming here to do some damage. I go into Brightburn tonight really excited to check out this movie, and I have to say, I'm not gonna lie, I walked out a little bit disappointed. Doesn't mean this is a bad film by any means. I think this is still a good movie that I think if you do go and see, you're gonna find good elements to it. I think even horror fans will find a lot of love in this. Also, coming from a horror fan, I found some things a little bit lacking. Before I get into any of those lacking parts, I do want to talk about my major pros because there are a lot in this. In fact, I would equivalent this whole film in saying this. It is a very unique concept that doesn't deliver fully on its unique concept and its special thing that it's trying to do on the reverse of Superman. But I think within this concept, there are a lot of great moments in here that even though the story doesn't flesh it out completely and it does feel rushed at times, I was still entertained. Brings me to my pros, and that is the performances. I think Elizabeth Banks is excellent in here. I think David Denman is great, and the kid who plays this sinister little shit is Jackson A. Dunn, and he was excellent. Outstanding in this film. He gave a very good child performance, and he's never someone I've ever seen before on the screen, but I'm curious to see what he does next. Of course, David Yarovesky, who is the director of this, I thought got some excellent shots in here and really directed the hell out of this film. For what you can definitely understand that this is probably a very low budget horror film, he definitely squeezed as much of the budget that he could into this film, and you can tell there is so much passion on the screen. You can tell there's a lot of love going into this movie. It doesn't feel like it was cheaply made or horribly made. It does feel like that there's a lot of passion within the movie. It even goes down to the script, where I do think the script is probably the weakest element of the film. I'm not gonna say it's a bad thing. I think the script is good, but again, this goes down to my cons, and this is kind of where I start to get into some like nitpicks and cons to the movie. This is a horror superhero film. I expected from the trailer, looking at it, the thing that sold me was that this is going to be a reverse Man of Steel. Now, maybe that was my expectations into it, and I go in, it's only an hour and 20 minutes, if even. It's a very short film, which is good, but at times it felt rushed through the story, and I actually wish the movie took time to develop more things. You do come to care and love this family and understand why they care so much about this kid, and I was not expecting that at all. But I actually wish they would have taken more time to it. I think there are a couple story elements in here that they could have enhanced on more, but once he kind of gets into his sinister ways, it really just turns its nod right to a horror trope, and it's like, yes, we are a straight horror film. I'm not saying that it's very scary at all either. This, in fact, is it's suspenseful. That is for sure. But none of the jump scares ever really captured me. I'm not gonna go to sleep terrified tonight. But it was suspenseful. I can definitely say that. But I think some of the things with Brightburn is it does fall into some horror tropes that we've seen before. By no means is bad again, even though I enjoyed the film for what it is. I just think the idea and the concept itself was better than that. The film relied on a lot of, okay, we're gonna look here, oh my god, we see something, I'm gonna look away, look there, it's gone, turn around, it's there. And that happens multiple times throughout the whole entire film. That's where it actually brings me to the great moments of the horror. Even though it does fall into some of the horror tropes and some of the dumb things that a lot of us horror fans roll our eyes on, I was really on board with the kills in here. This is a very brutal and gory film. Like, I was utterly shocked. At times, I even had to look away, and I've seen everything. I had to look away at moments. I was like, ooh, that's a little bloody there. Did not expect that, and I actually really fully appreciated that they did not pull a punch. They show everything and how brutal his kills can be, which I, again, appreciated. I'm glad that they took that horror and went straight with that. And even though it does fall into some of the other horror tropes that I don't appreciate, again, it goes down to, even though I feel like overall this film kind of is a mixed bag for me, I think this is a unique and excellent concept that I want more of. I want a sequel to this. I think there is so much more that you can fundamentally go off this film, but the only thing I can say is that if a sequel comes, I want something smarter. I don't want something that just falls again into these horror tropes and it's just him murdering a bunch of people, because then we'll just kind of have the new Saw franchise. I want something smart. I want something that's built up. I want a lot of character development in here, and there is some in here, but I think they could have slowly taken their pace with the film and built up to what was happening. I think that kind of falls within the script and how much longer it could have been. I think this film could have easily been an hour and 45 minutes, and it would have been a perfect match. The concept itself holds itself very creatively, and I was very much engaged the whole time, but it just kept falling into the horror tropes that I didn't care about. Very much entertaining scenes in here, great performances, and again, a unique concept, and I love that James Gunn always comes in and produces things like this. I am looking forward to, and I'm really hoping that we do get a sequel, but the most important thing I'm excited for is to talk about this film with other people, because I think this film has a lot of unique aspects to it. Before we get going, guys, make sure again to comment down below what your guys' thoughts are of Brightburn. Did you guys like this film? Did you hate it? I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts down below. Plus, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you guys are enjoying this review, or you guys in general just love geeky content and early movie reviews. Brightburn, again, seems like a little bit of a mixed bag for me. I think it has good direction in it. I think it has a good script in it with an excellent concept in it that wasn't firing on all cylinders all the time. Even though it did fall into some of the horror tropes that I'm not a big fan of, I think the kills in here were great, the acting was phenomenal, and I do want a sequel. I think it urged me enough to say, if they make a sequel, depending on the concept, I'll be there first day. A lot of greatness in this film, and I think that's kind of how some of these films come out. We've seen a lot of good concepts get a sequel and elevate it to a whole nother level, and I'm hoping that's what we'll get with Brightburn if we ever do get a Brightburn 2. So with all that said, I'm gonna give Brightburn a B-. It sounds like I was complaining a lot about this film. Maybe it was just because I had such high expectations for this. I still very much enjoyed it. It might not have reached the bar that I wanted it to, but I'm definitely curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. Thank you guys again so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe button. Check out Sandwich on Films. I'll make sure to see you guys soon. So, until next time, stay classy.